Conversations with Swaruu. I still don't understand though, from the higher level, why would love source that we already were needed to come out of itself to experience contrast, to experience love, something it was and is already. It does not need to. That is the whole point. It doesn't need to, that's right. So I don't know why it's doing it. That is not my decision to make. That is why we have been telling you that you don't need to help, unless it is your choice to help and it serves you, and why the world is exactly as it should be. Whoever does not agree has not yet understood why. You do not agree that the earth is exactly as it should be because you have resistance towards what you see there and against what you experience. That will create what you want, as it will make everything more clear to you and for you.
Now I'm feeling confused. I came to help. I do not know anything else. I don't know how to proceed. I'm immersed in a sea of suffering humanity, and I want it to stop. I thought I could help. Maybe I'm only muddying the waters.
You only help because you want to help. You may see helping as something you should do, a mission, but it is self-imposed. It is not your fight. It is theirs, as you come from a space and a time and a frequency of existence where you have already understood what the others haven't yet. But then ask yourself why you help, why you want to help them. In the end, there is even an ego component there to defend the concept you hold about who you are. But you do not need to help. That is a choice. There is no right and wrong here with that. But if that was so, we would not be where we are, helping. We do come from a higher level, and that higher level sent us down. This means that even that higher level doesn't know that it's not necessary to help. No one sent you, Gosha. No one sent you, Dale. You made a choice. You are it. You are what sent you there. You have made the decision to be there. Now you want to understand why you have made it. Now you must understand that it is coming to be the time when you must simply let everything go. The earth is not yours to fix. You help because you want to. Your choice.
I am sorry, little sister, if I seem unfocused today, as I am a flashlight with low batteries. I feel so bad for my wife crying, being afraid for my friends arguing, fussing and fighting, for the world around me falling apart, for feeling ineffective against such fear and, in a lot of cases, hostility.
You are feeling a lot of fear now. I sense it. Cannot run from me. That fear is not yours. It is the soup you are immersed in, the average frequency people are holding around you, in disharmony with yours. You are feeling what is not yours, as you are fearless. You went in there fearless, knowing who you are and what you can do. That fear is not yours.
Yes, thank you.
You are welcome. Swaruu, answer this question, please. You see the Angan planet attacked by clones. What do? You let it go, saying it's not our battle to fix? Answer honestly. We and they are all experiencing expansion. They have their own set of things they must go through. the helping races made a choice as well. That is their role in this big game. And they learn from their experiences as well. And they too must learn when to let go. But do you help them? Do the Hashmalims run to help them or not? Or should we say to them, let it go, they manifested it? Just wondering and pondering, because if what you say is the case, and I know it is, it must also apply to other places, not just Earth, because we can't place boundaries. Gosha, not sure about how to answer your question. They are in that moment facing the results of their former choices as well, that led them into the clone problem, or whatever problem they are facing. It applies everywhere, not only Earth, as it is only one game board of many. But everything still applies. Now see the entire galaxy or universe as the game board, equivalent to Earth. Again, if you find someone drowning, help. But don't go around all the beaches looking for drowning people, because you will find what you are looking for, and they will swamp you. Quoting Yazhi. And as the old Buddhist axiom says, before enlightenment, chop wood. After enlightenment, chop wood. Right. However, how do we know we came here looking for anything? Maybe we just found the humans drowning. Want to know what you are on Earth looking for?
Yes, please.
Want to know what you seek there? Tell us. You are looking for yourself. You are searching for the answer about who you really are. Yes, I can see that. We threw ourselves into this experience to further define ourselves, to find where we belong, our role, our lack of it, our battles, to find the parameters of who we are, if there are any. That's how I feel it as well. That is only an avatar. And that is correct. So that means you are not helping in a truly selfless manner. You help because that defines who you are. I know. I feel that as well. I'm only doing it because it fulfills who I feel I am. But then, why do I feel it's who I am? Where did that perception of myself come from? And also, why am I not the only one? There are more of us, these warriors in service. Who are we really? It is because of the concept you hold about yourself. And that was formed by your former experiences, and those by your choices. You think it's just former experiences? Never just is. It is everything. Let me ask you this. Are we all a one person somewhere above? All those of us who feel they are on a mission to help? Are we governed by the same collective mind? Higher mind, but still collective mind? All the angels, archangels, etc.? I feel on some higher level we are the same entity. Although we are all anyway, as you will say. That, angels, etc., is just the immediately above level of the same great game. Those are people as well. Generalizing, a bit wiser than the ones that are at the Earth average level. Wiser because they already graduated from that Earth level, so they are in the next level. But in the end, there are no levels. That is just another concept of belief system. But there are Charistus, and Gabriel told me we have allegiance with them. So it seems there is someone still above us who we represent. I want to go higher, to understand the source of what we feel about this service thing. From certain angles, As below, so is above. Those are 6D creatures. But in the end, we are all source, the highest level possible, transcending and including all levels. In the end, there is nothing there you can ever do wrong. There are all choices, all is experiences, all is learning, and all is expansion. There is nothing you can do that is ultimately wrong. But there are things that are more convenient for you than others. So that means that you must let go and stop bashing yourself because of past bad choices and what you consider to be wrongdoings. That is the old concept of Oriental karma. But holding karma is a choice. To liberate yourself, to shed karma, is to become enlightened. Enlightenment is not coming from light as opposed to darkness. It comes from lightness as a feather. You are not carrying karma any longer. You free yourself from that load. Therefore, enlightened. Are you saying that what we feel, that sacred and most noble allegiance type of service, is because of karma? In a way, yes. But we must define karma to be clear. Karma as in past experiences that have led us all here to who we are today. To carry karma is a choice. You do not need to. It is funny money, only valid when within the game of life. But Swaruu, look at this image. You on a horse, wind in your hair, sword in your hand, noble feeling of mission, brave, no fear, in service to the light, with epic music around. Where is that feeling coming from? That's what I need to understand. That comes from the idea you hold about who you are. It's what I feel that defines me, yes, but then if that's not what is me, if that's just self-imposed ideas and karma experiences from the past, then who am I? If I strip myself of that, then is there me any longer? That is stripping yourself from all ego, as ego is who you think you are. Then you become everything and everyone. You become enlightened. But to be truly enlightened, you must be dead. Or else you will still hold some ego at least. Or better said, sane and healthy idea or concept of self. In the end though, you come to understand that as there is no death, then there is no life. Therefore, nothing is stopping you from achieving total enlightenment while alive. But that description above does feel like me, and I like that part of me. If I strip myself away of that, I just become a floating energy with no definition, potential energy. Is there any sense to being just potential energy floating around? Okay, now I'm starting to understand why potential energy that we are wanted to fragment. Why would you hold any resistance to who you think you are? No one said it was wrong. It is thought that ego as a self-concept is bad. No, they are only concepts and tools. But I rather use self other than ego as it conveys a negative connotation. Why resistance? Because if it's just an idea and an illusion in a way, then I should transcend it, no? That is your choice too. No right and no wrong here. I think this whole debate about not helping or helping comes down to this. To us being willing or not to let go of our own self-concept. It shakes the ground of who we believe ourselves to be, helpers. That's why the resistance, because it's the ego self-definition of ourselves in fear of losing its validity. Yes, As I have said from the very beginning, you help because you want to. And you want to because that is who you are. It has always been your choice. All I'm saying is that you also have the valid alternative to not help. That is who I think I am. But as you said, that's an idea. And beyond that idea, there is more of me. That is right, because that is part of our self-concept. But I always wanted to believe that being who we are is not our choice, it's our essence. Beyond the choice, that it's simply who we are. That is also your choice to believe that. Stop already. Okay, but I know what you mean.
Little sister, why do you help? Is it because that is who you think you are? Just asking.
I help because of the same reason you help, because it is who I have decided to be. But I know I am not even here. It is a role I play. But I also hold other roles, as you do, as we all do. But when it starts to hurt us, when it no longer defines us, it is time to realize that helping does not depend on us. It is just a choice, and that it is perfectly okay to not help and pass the role in the game to the next one who wants to help.
Understood. Thank you.
Welcome.
I guess here, unfortunately, thanks to Freud and others, we have the idea of ego being held as a negative connotation, and I even sometimes fall into the trap of feeling negative because I realize I'm embracing my ego and I do try very hard not to have a big ego. But to remember humility, to remember service. Again, these are my choices.
This is a different type of ego, I think. In that sense, ego is a self-indulgence in one's own importance. As we have said before, the ego arises from the destruction of the self. With that definition, you can still hold ego as with a negative connotation, holding selfishness and even narcissism if you like. While self is pure, a concept we hold of ourselves in perfect harmony. Okay, so ego, in your sense, is a concept we hold of ourselves. Yes, Swaruu? Yes. Ego is basically the self-concept we all hold. I feel I am in such a hard place emotionally, though. I am on all levels at once, suffering with people in 3D, understanding and fighting as a 5D Taigetan, and accepting as a 7D and 9D and whatever D being. Such a weird feeling. I see why we understand each other. Welcome to my point of view of the world. I am there with you. I do understand you. The higher your awareness is and goes, the more data you must process, while you still understand lower density consciousnesses and points of view, even if they may many times represent apparent contradictory points of view. Yes, exactly my feeling, all-encompassing state of being. So, it is comfortable to be in a 3D mentality just watching the ball game. But it's harder, and you need a much bigger brain to be with a 7D mentality, understanding all the mentalities below yours. And then it boils down to understanding that you must let go and leave people be, as they must be in lower mentality densities, because you cannot handle them all, and you must be congruent and in accordance with yours alone. Why even bother in trying to convince them of whatever not in their 3D realm? Yes, it is as I am feeling, emotionally involved on all levels, and then not being emotionally involved with any of them, just watching. This feeling is liberating and expanding, but it's strange too. To make people understand things, those on the lower levels, and then feeling like there is no need to make them understand anything anyway. And then, on the most expanded level, there is no one to make understand anything. It's all you anyway, just having experiences. Nuts. Exactly. Precisely. What surprises me is why, from your perspective, you are not manifesting different Earth, free, if you have this high creative power. Why do things go wrong sometimes, even for you? Yes, the 5D Earth is manifested. It already exists, but we are focusing on parts of the Earth that are not there yet. But it is by own decisions. Just as number 5 can choose to look at 3 if it wishes. And why don't you go there? Why do you like to help? That is the problem that Yazhi perceives here. We are here helping because we are looking for someone to help. If we were not looking for someone to help, there would be no need to help. But it is our creation and our manifestation. If you go down the beach and you find someone drowning, help. But don't go all over the beach looking for someone drowning. Quote, Yazhi Swaruu Tasherit. So we are here helping because we are looking for who needs help. As she insists and says, she came for one thing, to make us see this point, and to cause us a phenomenal nuisance, and to climb trees, and to play with dolls, and to eat chocolate cake, and to play with robots that chase her, to be a girl. Having to help, whether it is the right thing to help, is just an idea that is in your head, a decision that you have made. This is the core of Yazhi's teaching. She was also looking for someone to come and say this to. Why? Why did Yazhi need this? Because she wants to make it known that you don't need to do anything. Just clear your mind. This for you, for us, and for humans. That is the way out of the matrix. Not fighting reptiles. Reptiles that, in any case, are also the creation of the human and collective mind, also of other races. Nevertheless, we help. She has made a decision to help us as well, being that it is not necessary from the broader point of view. There is no need. But she has made a conscious decision to help. However, she has also made a conscious decision of how to help and to what extent. I am willing to accept something, that Yazhi is the most evolved of all here. Well, it's you from the future, then it would only be logical that it be so. I am 9, she is 12. 12 contains 9, but 9 does not contain 12. I understand. But why do I like to help? For example, why do I want to do it? All this is strange because if all of us are here helping, we must be considering it as important from other side. We have impulsed ourselves to do so. You must understand yourself first to understand your decisions. Whether we like it or not, Yazhi is looking at everything from an even more expanded point of view. Sure, but then she sees it from the planes that are even higher than our own essence that has prompted us to incarnate in 5D, 3D and help. Yes, but she doesn't want us to get caught in a circle of always having to help. But it's all free will. There are really no trapped souls except by their own ideas. We always say it. No one is trapped. There are no trapped humans, so neither are we. Yes, the concept is human and is seen from a human position, generated from a deterministic perception, not from above. From above, it is a decision. That's why we can't be caught in circles helping humans. Yazhi has nothing to free us from here, doesn't she? No, she doesn't have to free us. She just points us to that option, like you with humans too. And if there is anyone who is caught in loops of helping humans, it is the Swaroos. Swaroos from 2 to 11. The 12 no longer. The moment you are a fragment of the whole as personal perception, even though you are the whole or the source, the idea of limitation will appear, which generates determinism. Therefore, it is there where the idea of victim would be born, of not being free. Conversations with Yazhi. Yazhi, and if suddenly Procyon gets attacked by the clones, what will you do? Are you going to help Procyon, or thinking that everything is the consent of the Procyon collective, will you not do any intervention? Just thinking. Because if that would be the right attitude, it has to apply to all places, not just Earth. You already know my answer. If you are in a position to help, help. But then you have to define the line, where what happens is by consent and we do not intervene, and where we do. It's not easy. In one way or another, they have or will be suffering the attack of clones by the series of events that brought them to that point. That is part of their life experience. It's just a different level of the same game. Sure, but at that very moment, the Hashmalims would run to help, no? They will not deny their help, thinking, Procyon is where it should be. How to know when to intervene and when not? If they want to, yes. Yes, it is where it should be. Everything is as it should be, and that is known because that is where it is. Everything is the consequence of previous decisions, always made with the best in mind. They only appear to be wrong decisions when viewed from an afterward point of view of something that already happened. Therefore, from an understanding point of view of the more expanded situation. But from the point of view of the decision maker, it is always done with the best data at hand, be it someone private or the Federation itself. It is impossible to define where the exact line is. I am relieved by your answer then, because I was anxious trying to decipher the line. But there is an element here, which is that an enormous amount, if not all those who are there on Earth, are also here or on other planes. It is also from there, from a more expanded point of view, from where the decision to intervene would be made. Humans are extraterrestrials, intertwined, without clear barriers. And what do most of them, with their equivalents, want there then? What do their equivalents from other planes want? Can you know? It is a school there. Experiences there are needed for souls to be able to form themselves, so that souls, consciousnesses, form an idea of what they want and do not want. To form who they are, they need to face challenges. The fact that we or the Federation intervene openly is the equivalent of a teacher going and solving the math exam, thus helping their students. You cannot solve the exam for them. It is their job to make the effort, or they will never learn. Positive non-human races are just that, guides, inspiration, teachers, and muses. But the work is theirs.
This school is very tough. The subjects are so hard that many lose interest. That is, they lose interest in awakening.
It is one of the hardest. Some people dare to say that it is the toughest of schools. But there are others like this or harder, but that is subjective. It's just being there temporarily anyway, short and intense incarnation, but with a lot of learning. And why does the more expanded consciousness have to enter 3D to form itself and to know who and what it is? From 5D you can't reach that knowledge? You all, for example, are not formed then, and you do not know who you are without entering here? Kalel, for example, said that this 3D experience does not give him anything.
Yes, he said it was not necessary, that you can experience the same in other places.
Yes, because then everyone on the ship should be eager to get in here to form themselves, but I don't see many volunteers. It seems like a long time, the incarnation, but it is only an instant for your cosmic souls, not a blink of an eye. That's why they go in. That is why they incarnate there to experience all that pain and all those difficulties. Because the decision was made from higher planes, where all understanding is much more expanded and does not correspond to the same parameters of understanding and perception or priorities as when they are alive there. And it always contributes something. If there is something you experience and you don't understand why it happened, ask yourself, what did I learn from that experience? And that is the reason why it happened. Living in 3D means having a series of experiences with a framework of apparent perceptual limitation or laws of what can or cannot be done, what is allowed and what is not allowed. From an incarnation in 5D, there are other rules, another set of possible and impossible. That is why what happens here does not make sense to many who listen. They see it from a 3D compatible framework of understanding only. Like the fact that my mom and I are the same person, with the same consciousness, and yet simultaneously have individuality. And it is also why human science finds it impossible to understand 5D science. I understand, but Yazhi, is it really necessary to be in 3D to form and discover who you are? From 5D you cannot. It brings another series of experiences. They complement each other. It just depends on what you want to experience. And everyone will have their own reasons. But it is true that the vast majority of incarnations with a physical biological body happen in a 5D frame, not 3D. Yes, living in 5D is overwhelmingly preferred. Exactly. And you also form yourself there. You also discover who you are. It is not necessary to go down so low and suffer so much isolation to be formed. There is no need. Just as it is not necessary to help, since nothing at all is necessary, only be whatever. In fact, it is not necessary to form oneself at all either. That is also an idea. And by dissolving this idea, the need for 3D is dissolved. Although I understand that the souls from above seem to have that need. Maybe it's part of what we do here. Dissolve the needs of any type, including our own. That is your opinion now, but you have learned that based on the experience you have had in 3D. That feeling of not necessary. And it can be applied to that it is not necessary to help either. That is why you have incarnated in 3D, to know exactly what you are telling me above. It is not necessary. But how would you know without going? You would listen to other people who have already been there. Even so, they will also tell you everything they learned and how much they enjoyed everything there.
So from your point of view, do you think that you can intervene to eliminate all of those egregors that have been created under mind control? You cannot learn just getting hit.
What for? If learning everything by being there, experiencing everything that you do not want, is also clarifying everything that you do want, and with it alone, they will dissipate their egregors. They are not helpless. That is why they perceive that they need the direct help of the Federation. But the human population, which is the only one that matters, the little ones, the simple people, have everything they need to get ahead. I have another question, Yazhi. I came up with something. If you say that everything is collective inner reflections, projections, you think that we, all of us in service to help the troops of guides, angels, whatever, by dissolving, understanding, transcending our need to define ourselves as such, it would dissolve the worlds to help? I mean, are we sustaining worlds like this with our focus? And when we free ourselves from the need to help, those worlds that suffer would dissolve? Why aren't you helping out at an animal shelter? You could volunteer to help all those poor homeless puppies and kittens. You didn't have it in mind until I told you. But they are still there, the shelters. You help this way as you do, because it is what you have decided. And you have decided so because it is what you know how to do best. Because many will be able to go to clean cages, but they will not be able to give what you give. You do it because it is who you are, what defines you. Your frequency dictates it and makes you compatible with this and not with other way of helping. Why don't you go to a nursing home to read a book aloud for the elderly? It is also helping. It is only because you decide to help according to what is compatible with who you are. But that's what I mean. So, as we transcend the frequency of what we think we are, helpers, do the worlds to help dissolve? Or will they continue to exist, only that we will not be there, as with your examples above? They will not dissolve, although it could be argued that from your point of view they will, based on the same argument from the spiritual angle as with false people. But at least you will understand that helping is a personal decision. It is not good, nor is it bad, and that it is also valid to continue with your own path. It is thought that one should live in the service of others. But there is something better that does not involve the concept of stepping aside. Being someone who, by doing what they please, nurturing themselves with their own interests, will at the same time, intertwined and simultaneously, serve the benefit of a group. You are only who you are, and because you exist, you help a lot. You just have to pursue your own well-being and interests, and with that you pull and help everyone around you. It is the base of a holographic society. Each one expresses what they are, and with that contributes to the society. It is the base, correct. You are only who you are. You do not question. You only follow your interests and your own happiness without guilt. And that, precisely because of who you are, inspires and helps others. And another thing. Above, Yazhi, you said that we are messengers. But is it really who we are? Or is it just our idea? Because I don't know why, but I don't want to be just an idea of myself. If you say that what I think I am is just an idea, it automatically makes me want to transcend that and search for more. If being a helper is some idea and not my essence, then I want to know what my essence is, the real I, beyond ideas. But you are always the idea you have of yourself. Your concept of yourself is what defines your reality. But that concept is self-imposed. And what is behind? Okay, the self beyond is the source. I know, the all. And that there is nothing but ideas. Holy moly, what vicious circles this life.
Ideas are illusions?
That's what I mean. Ideas seem like illusions to me, no matter how strong they seem to you. So then I automatically want to go beyond them. You cannot find your absolute self, your final self, and that is why you search, being that already. Because you cannot be anything other than that which you have always been. You look for it because you don't understand it. You don't see it. And that happens because as an eye cannot see itself or a knife cannot cut itself, you cannot understand who you are either.
And like one side of a coin cannot see the reverse.
I understand, but still you go on exploring, eternally. Robert, you ask if ideas are illusions. It also depends on your definition of illusion. I can argue that ideas are the only thing that is real, because from there everything materializes. It is the basis of all creation. It may be the explanation why the soul seeks expansion, simply because by nature it is unable to understand itself. Yes, if you look at it like that, yes. Ideas are the only real thing because nothing else creates the reality, of course. So then there is nothing but ideas. Okay, in this case, having the idea of myself is not something that I have to fight, to break through, to transcend, right? Just because it's an idea. Rather, to integrate it into myself as something that I have chosen to be, yeah? It is so. That is why it is also useless to defend fixed ideas. Just stop having resistance to them. So, the idea we have of ourselves as warriors, helpers, angels, messengers is not something we have to fight against, is it? Just because it was self-imposed. Just to understand that they are ideas and that we have the option of continuing to act according to them or not. That's right. If you like them, go ahead. It's your decision. It is perfectly valid. All options are valid. None are bad. None are good. But then, some choices are more convenient than others. But one more thing. Something that I still don't understand exactly. What is the difference between what I am and what my idea of who I am is? Or is there no difference? Who else defines you if not you yourself? It would be the same. I ask because I like to operate from the level of myself that I am, the authentic me, not just from some idea level. It seemed to me like something inferior, only to operate from the level of the idea. But you are the idea, and the idea is who you are. The idea shapes you. The idea is not an illusion. Ah, okay. That's the key there.
Exactly. It is the only real thing.
Yes, Just that before I thought it was something illusory. That's why I didn't like to think that I do what I do just because of some self-imposed idea. Now I understand that there is no absolute self. We are ether, and we give ourselves existence and definition through the ideas that we give ourselves. We encourage existence and experiences through these ideas.
We expand.
And we form.
And we create.
To later find out what we are and what we are not, according to what we are discovering, or rather what we choose to be, because we are everything.
And there is no better school than this 3D.
Hey, don't go overboard, Robert. There can be 5D schools too. It depends on what you want to experience. That is why I have always told you that helping or not is your decision. It does not matter. But it doesn't not matter for you. And that is something that only you can determine, whether or not the experience of help serves you. That is why I have said that the world is just as it should be. Yes, but I would like to get to the bottom of all the bottoms of why we have this desire to help. And I know we talked about this 1,000 times. Because it is the experience you want to live. The I and the them. I help them. It feeds my ego in a good way. It makes me feel good about myself. But why? Why do we want to experience it? I want to deprogram myself. Where does this feeling good about it come from? I feel that it is something auto-programmed, and I would like to reset, to see myself in the prefabrication state. That will depend on the point of view of each individual. Only you can know why. But the basic reason is always the same, and you know it. The desire to know what happens if and if, because of the endless desire for expansion. I want to know what lies beyond myself, without desires. What is there? No self-imposed ideas. If you remove the self-imposed ideas, there is no longer Gosha. You are then only part of the great collective of high densities. You are only Gosha because you hold attachments to those preconceived ideas that shape and determine you, what makes up your I. Maybe that's where I long to be, I think. I perceive myself there. Here, I feel that these ideas stick to me like layers of clothes, but it is not me in that beyond state. Even there where you perceive yourself, there are still preconceived ideas because you still say, I perceive myself. That is you, a me, and a person. That is another layer. Wherever I perceive myself, I sense that I operate within other types of ideas. They are not so sharp or self-descriptive. It is another type of I that I cannot experience from here. Higher up, you don't experience. You are everything. You can only experience if, from that state of total enlightenment, you focus on a small part of yourself, of what you perceive within the great whole. And that small part that you have decided to perceive is the same as and what defines an incarnation in low densities or in any density. You are everything. That is why you only decide to see a small part of yourself to experience the I. From above, if you are everything, there is no I. It is only the eternal collective. There are no experiences. And there are no experiences because everything is integrated and outside of time. And without the perception of the sequence of events, there is no experience. But there are degrees between being all and being me, like Gosha here. In the state where I perceive myself, I am not all yet. I am, but the idea of I is different, not defined as here. Gosha, yes, there are degrees. That's why there are 3D, 5D, 6D, 7D. If you feel integrated into the whole, but still being a Gosha concept that is apart from the others, that is equivalent to a 7 or 8D understanding, where there is still an I as a present concept. In 9D, there is only a concept of, or the idea that something could be formed below, an intention. The I is almost completely dissolved in the collective of consciousness. Densities as examples, rhetorically, we already know that it is a gradient, and there are as many densities as there are consciousnesses. Yes, that's why I think that where I perceive myself, it is not the source itself. It is not the total illumination. No. There is still some kind of self-observation of me, but it is like more collective, expanded. No help or not help ideas. It is another kind of existence. There is my home, not even Taygeta or anything material. Notice that in the state of source, the unification of the whole, the state of perfect enlightenment, there is no self, there is no experience. Then it is equivalent to nothing, to emptiness, and not even that. Impossible to define, because if you define it, that is not it. So total enlightenment is equivalent to not being. And that's why you prefer to live in densities where there is a notion of being, of an I. I can feel that you are still feeling like you are losing your friend Swaruu. I'm here. I know you are still here. I do know that. But you are unburdened. She's more burdened one, like me, melancholic. And she can relate to me this way. You transcended the melancholy. It gets to the point where the burden is so great that it snaps. Normal people get heart attacks. And I am so happy for you. You have no idea. For becoming free, for understanding how to transcend Swaruu 9's experiences. You deserve that. You carried so much on your shoulders. That's why I'm so happy for you. I really am. And also because somewhere in there, I am there on that level too. I guess I am both of you. I have even more on my shoulders now. The memory and the karma of 12 Swaroos. But I know how to handle that. And I want to tell you all how to be happy even with all that you carry. Yes, you are lighter, freer, liberated. You so deserve it for all you have done. You are outside of the wheel. It's Swaruu in her mega state, finally free. I cannot be free if other people are feeling not free. Therefore, I have a great need to teach how to be free, how to liberate karma, how to let go. But at least you are free for yourself. You overcome a lot of that karma. Now, you are still locked, I guess, within the I cannot be free if others are not idea. Why can't you be free if others are not feeling free? Aren't we just pointing the way, doing our part, and then the rest is not our responsibility, really? Because at the point I am on, I know and I feel and I am aware we are all one. I know what others feel is what I feel. So I am not free yet. I have work to do. I needed a new body, younger, stronger, to last. It is my responsibility, as it is the responsibility of each person who has higher awareness to educate and lead the ones with less awareness. You and I, we are guides. That is what we do, who we are. I see. I thought you didn't really have that need any longer, to do anything anymore, to free anyone. I thought you came to liberate us and the Taigetans of the need of their role to liberate others. That is also correct. But it is not a need, as Swaruu 9 has. All I need is to be myself, and everything will flow as needed. Same for you. All you need is to follow your bliss, and liberate others you will. You need not sacrifice your needs, your personal wantings for the cause. It is not you or them that is creating separation. Just be, and help you will.